Welcome to the deep dive. We take your essential source materials and cut straight to the information you need to stay informed.
Yeah, helping you get ahead of the curve.
Exactly. Today, we're diving into the October 2025 communications from Southeastern Indiana REMC. That's SEI REMC.
And this is a really critical deep dive.
Yeah.
We're looking at a major rural cooperative.
Right.
They're juggling some pretty big infrastructure changes, technology upgrades like fiber, alongside, well, necessary financial adjustments.
It's a lot to cover.
It is. Our mission today is to really analyze the state of this co-op system. We'll cover the tough stuff, like the rate changes.
And everyone wants to know about.
Absolutely. But also the investments, like SEI Fiber, and what it means to be a co-op, especially now during National Co-op Month.
And there's some fascinating history here. Quick fact, SEI REMC is celebrating 86 years. 86.
Wow.
They started way back in 1939. It was literally neighbors banding together because, well, the big companies wouldn't bring electricity out to these rural areas, not enough customers, you know.
That whole concern for community thing right from the start.
Exactly. That spirit is kind of the foundation for everything we're discussing.
And it's not a small operation now. That spirit powers a huge infrastructure.
How big are we talking?
Over 27,000 members. Specifically, the figure is 28,695 electric services.
Okay.
Spread across 7 counties in southeastern Indiana. And connecting that to the bigger picture, they're part of this national network. 830 distribution co-ops across the country.
Wow.
Serving about 1 in every 8 U.S. residents. So the choices SEI REMC makes, they kind of reflect what's happening in rural America everywhere.
Okay, so let's get into the most immediate thing for listeners.
Yeah.
The money talk. A rate adjustment is coming.
Yes. That's the headline news, really. Effective October 1st, 2025, there's a rate adjustment.
And what does that mean in practical terms?
For most residential members, it works out to an average increase of about 8%.
8%. That's noticeable, especially now. Can you give us an example? Like for someone trying to budget.
Sure. Let's say you have a typical bill, maybe around $150 a month. You'd expect that to go up by about $12.
$12 more per month.
Roughly, yeah. And a key timing thing, because of how billing cycles work, you won't actually see this change until your November bill arrives.
Okay, November. So that's a little heads up. But it leads to the big question, why now? Especially for a co-op, which isn't about profit.
Right, and that's where understanding the co-op model is just crucial. SEI REMC operates at cost. They're not for profit.
No shareholders demanding dividends.
Exactly. Any money left over after covering costs eventually goes back to the members as capital credits. So this increase isn't about padding profits.
So what is driving it then?
The sources point very clearly to rising operational costs. Just the basics. Fuel for the trucks, materials like wire, transformers, poles.
Stuff that's gotten more expensive everywhere.
For sure. Plus labor costs, new equipment. Inflation and supply chain issues are hitting them too. Without this adjustment, they risk falling behind on maintenance, on upgrades, things needed for reliability.
Reliability is key.
It is. They need to keep the system strong, especially with more people working remotely, the future demands of EVs. It's about reinvesting to keep the lights on reliably.
It's a balancing act then, covering costs, staying nonprofit. But what help is there for members facing this 8% bump?
They do offer several practical tools. First, members can ask for a rate comparison report.
How does that work?
Member services will look at your past energy use, your patterns, and see if another rate plan, maybe like the time of day rate, could actually save you money.
Ah, so shifting when you use power could make a difference.
Potentially, yeah. It depends on your lifestyle, but they'll run the numbers for you.
That's helpful. What else?
Second, there's budget billing. This is great for predictability.
Right, avoiding those huge winter heating bills or summer AC spikes.
Exactly. They average your yearly use and divide it into equal monthly payments. Takes the sting out of those seasonal highs and lows. Makes budgeting much easier.
Okay, and the third tool focuses more on what you can do at home.
Yeah, energy efficiency guidance. Their advisors offer tips. Some are really simple, like lowering your water heater thermostat down to 120 degrees Fahrenheit.
Does that really save much?
It adds up. You likely won't notice the difference in hot water, but it reduces energy use. They also suggest sealing drafts, washing clothes in cold water, practical things you can do right away to help manage that increase.
Good, actionable advice. Okay, let's shift gears a bit from electricity costs to the digital highway, SEI fiber expansion.
Yeah, this is a huge investment area for them, and it's really forward-thinking.
Why is fiber so important for a rural electric co-op?
Well, high-speed internet isn't a luxury anymore, right?
Hmm.
It's essential infrastructure, like electricity was back in 1939.
Good point.
Fiber enables everything.
Yeah.
Telemedicine, kids learning online, attracting businesses that need serious bandwidth. It keeps rural communities viable and competitive.
So let's get into the details of their offerings. There's a new top tier, right? And some changes.
Yes, they've really boosted the high end. The new top package is Platinum. That's 2 gig speed.
2 gigs. Who needs that much speed?
Well, think power users. Maybe a home business uploading massive files, families with multiple people streaming 4K videos simultaneously, serious online gamers who need low latency.
Okay, so it's niche but important for some. What's the cost?
It's $149.95 a month standard. But if you sign a 2-year contract, it drops quite a bit, down to $109.95 a month.
And it comes with something extra.
Yes, a free Wi-Fi mesh extender system, which is smart.
Why is that important?
Rural homes can be larger, maybe older construction. Getting that super fast signal everywhere can be tricky. The mesh system helps blanket the whole house in Wi-Fi.
Ah, solving the last few feet problem inside the home. Makes sense. What about the other tiers?
The premium tier, which is 1 gig speed at $109.95 a month, also now includes that free mesh extender. That's a nice value add for that level.
Okay.
And the lower tiers are still there. Plus, at 500 megabits per second for $79.95 and basic at 100 Mbps for $54.95. You can add a mesh system to those for $15 a month if you need it.
The sources mentioned something important about choosing a speed. It's not just about how many phones or tablets you have.
Exactly. They stress focusing on activity. What are you doing online? Heavy streaming, gaming, huge uploads. That needs more bandwidth intensity. If you have lots of devices just checking email or browsing, a lower tier might be totally fine. It's about your peak usage, really.
Got it. Activity over just counting devices. Now, staying on the theme of home infrastructure, backup power, the Generac program, there's some urgency here.
Yes, this is a critical heads up for anyone thinking about a whole home generator. The cost for Generac units bought through SEI REMC is going up starting January 1st, 2026.
If you want this year's pricing.
You need to lock it in. Finalize the purchase agreement by December 31st, 2025. The program offers financing, professional installation, local service. It's about that peace of mind during outages. But yeah, there's a deadline to get the 2025 price.
Okay, good to know. Let's move into our third section, the cooperative difference. October is National Co-op Month. How are they showing that concern for community principle in action?
They have these co-op days events planned, and they really cover different aspects of community well-being. It's not just about poles and wires.
Like what?
Well, first, health. They're hosting a mobile mammogram program on October 13th, partnering with St. Elizabeth Healthcare, bringing that screening right into the community.
That's fantastic access.
Then there's tackling immediate needs like hunger. They're running a Fill the Truck food drive, collecting non-perishables for food banks and shelters across all 7 counties they serve.
So direct community support.
And even their own employees get involved directly on REMC Community Day. They put together these co-op comfort kits.
What's in those?
Things like warmth items, hygiene products, maybe some notes of encouragement. They distribute them to local support organizations like Heart House, Safe Passage, and the Salvation Army. Real hands-on stuff.
And the sources usually highlight a member story. There's one about the Mulford family.
Yes, in Ripley County. Bob and Ellen Mulford. It's a really powerful story about stewardship. Bob's grandfather bought the original farm back in 1940.
Wow, long history there.
Yeah, 160 acres then grew to a 400-acre grain farm. But around 2010, they made a huge shift. They decided to dedicate the entire farm to conservation and restoration.
The whole farm.
The whole thing. They call it Capability Farm now.
What kind of restoration work are they doing?
Focusing on native grasslands, wetlands, creating habitat for endangered species, like the crawfish frog.
Crawfish frog. Never heard of it.
Me neither, but apparently it needs that specific wetland habitat they're restoring. The farm also hosts master naturalist classes, so it's conservation and education.
That's really living that concern for community ideal, but focused on the environment and long-term health of the region.
Exactly. It shows the co-op's connection goes beyond just power lines.
Speaking of the people who do manage the power lines, employee recognition.
Right. Those 3,477 miles of electric line don't maintain themselves.
That's a lot of wire.
It is. Their skills were on display at the 2025 Indiana Lineman Rodeo. 3 of their linemen, Adam Fry, Morgan Sutton, and Todd Huff, took second place in the mystery event.
Mystery event. Sounds tough.
Probably involves some unexpected problem solving under pressure. It really highlights the training, the teamwork, the expertise that keeps the system reliable.
Okay, let's bring it home with Section 4, Fall Comfort and Safety. Actionable stuff for the listener, starting with ways to save.
Yep, perfect timing as we head into cooler weather. SEI REMC is pushing water heater rebates.
How much are we talking?
Up to $500 back if you install a qualifying energy-efficient water heater. They're specifically highlighting heat pump models or Wi-Fi-enabled electric ones.
That seems like a smart move. Invest upfront in efficiency, get a rebate, and save on bills long term, especially with that rate increase.
Exactly. It's a way to proactively manage your energy costs.
And safety tips for the season, Halloween's coming up.
Right, they call it shock-free Halloween. Basic but crucial reminders. Use outdoor-rated cords and lights if you're decorating outside. Don't overload outlets. Use surge protectors.
Check the cords first.
Always. Look for frayed wires or damage before plugging anything in. Simple checks prevent fires.
And as we start heating our homes,
Space heater safety is huge.
Yep.
Keep them on flat surfaces, away from anything flammable like curtains or bedding. Get your chimney inspected if you have one. And please, test your smoke and carbon monoxide detectors. Now, today.
good reminder. What about outside the home? Travel safety.
Yeah, days are getting shorter, visibility drops. Plus, it's harvest season, so watch for slow-moving farm equipment on those rural roads.
Be patient behind the tractor.
Definitely. And with fall storms potentially bringing down trees or lines, always assume a downed power line is live. Stay far away. Report it to SEI REMC immediately. Don't go near it.
Okay, so wrapping this all up, October 2025 for SEI REMC. What's the big picture?
It feels like a real pivot point. They're being transparent about the financial reality that 8% rate increase needed because costs are up.
But they're not just cutting costs.
No, far from it. They're simultaneously making these big, future-focused investments like rolling out 2 gig fiber and reinforcing the co-op difference through all that community action we talked about. It's a balancing act.
And it highlights the role of the member, right? You're not just a customer, you're an owner. Your engagement, whether serving on the board or just participating in Operation RoundUp.
Which helps fund great local groups like Girls Inc.
Right. That engagement matters. It shapes the co-op's direction.
Which brings us to a final thought for you, the listener, to chew on. SEI REMC manages this vast system, nearly 3,500 miles of electric lines, over 2,200 miles of fiber. They just asked you to absorb an 8% rate increase to keep it reliable.
While also funding fiber expansion and supporting things like the Mulford's conservation work.
Exactly. They chose reliability and future investment and community health over just keeping rates flat for now. So the question is, how do you, as a member owner, weigh that immediate cost increase against the promise of long-term grid stability, digital access for your whole region, and that deeper community well-being? What does success really look like for your utility?